Okay, in this lesson we are going to build a bench seat, and we're going to be doing that by using a polygon cube and bringing that into position. I'm going to go actually to my side view first and bring that to about here. Select R, scale that out, and let's make it a little narrower, about like that, and bring it up to about here. And I think we can make it just a little bit deeper, so let's scale that a little more. Okay, and now we're going to have to widen that to the width of the cart, maybe just inside, right about there. Okay, and we're going after sort of a vinyl stitched look with kind of the segments across here. And to create that, we're going to need some subdivisions along the width here. I'm going to put about 8 or so in. And then coming into my top view here, I'm going to right mouse click, select faces, and I'm going to drag a marquee over every other one, holding the shift key down, like that. Coming back out here, and I'm going to extrude that. And come in here and just pull that out a little bit like that. That's pretty good. And back into my top view here. I'm going to hit Q to get out of that. And I'm going to now select the opposite faces here. Come back out to my perspective view and hit extrude again. And bring that out to the same point as the other one. So right about there. That looks good. Okay. And hit Q to get out of that. Go back to object mode, select that, and I'm going to hit 3 on the keyboard. So you can see now we've got some detail here. It's collapsing a little bit along the front here. We're missing a little bit of resolution. So I'm going to go back to 1 and I'm going to insert a couple of edge loops here. So edit mesh, insert edge loop. I'm going to place one about 1/3 of the way down, and then this one roughly there. And now I'm going to come into my side view and complete that. Grab the vertex in the front here and pull them out like that. So let's look at that in perspective now. Let's select 3. That looks a lot nicer. It's not collapsing so much. Feels a little thick here, so I'm going to actually scale that down, round it out a little bit, about like that. And that looks pretty good for the base of the seat. So we can take this now and duplicate it with Control D and lift it up a little bit, and let's hit E and rotate that into position about like that, and then bring this up and slide it back. It's looking a little large here, so let's go ahead and scale it down, the height of it. It's a little thick too for the back part of the seat. That's probably a little better. And I'm going to go ahead and shut off the visibility of the cart here. It's getting in the way a little bit. I have a separate layer over here I created. And let's now just bring that back down right on top like that of the other seat. And slide it back just a little bit. Alright, so that looks pretty good. It looks pretty CG right now. Everything's kind of perfect. So let's add a little bit of deformation here, as though we've had a character that's been driving in here, and maybe a passenger as well. Add a little wear and tear to the seat. So we'll do that by coming under Animation, Menu Set, Create Deformers, and we're going to use a lattice for that. And 5 subdivisions, probably 5 all the way across will work. And hit create. So that gives us a little bit to work with here. And I'm going to hover over the lattice and right mouse click to get that lattice point selection. And I'm dragging a marquee over this group here on the corner, shift and drag a marquee over the other corner. And now I'm going to just raise those up a little bit. You can see it kind of pulling the edges there. I'm going to select R and scale it out a little bit. And maybe this group here on the middle row, I'll bring those in a little bit. And that doesn't seem to be affecting it too much. Let's try this one right here. There it goes. It's grabbing that a little. Let's bring it out like that. All right, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to go into wireframe mode for a moment here. I'm going to select this group and shift select this group over here. Go back to shaded mode, and that's not affecting it too much, not as much as I'd like to. I might have to grab this whole group right here back into wireframe mode. You can see I've got all of these selected here, as well as this selection here. And let's see if that works a little better. Yeah, that's working a little better. You can see it deforming a little bit, collapsing in. All right, that looks pretty good. So let's do the same down here on the base of the bench seat. Create another lattice for that. Just reset that, and we'll do probably 6. Let's give it a little bit more here. 5 here, and create. Okay, and then hovering over that, selecting with the right mouse the lattice points. I'm going to come up here and grab this with the marquee. So I've got all of those right there, and that's working pretty well. You can see it kind of sinking down a little bit. Let's grab the front ones here and kind of collapse those as well. That's working a little bit better. And the front there, you can see that really kind of collapsing. Maybe we can use this to sort of push it down even a little bit more. Maybe we had kind of a big character here that sort of made the seat sag a little bit. This one would probably do the same thing as well. So kind of push that down a little bit. And the passenger, let's grab these right here, that one, and we'll scale that down as well. Something like that, and maybe just thin that out as well. So you can spend a little time on that, just kind of getting it the way you like. There we go, back to object mode. So to get rid of that deformer now, we actually need to, if we just select and delete that, we'll lose the deformation that we just created. So we actually need to select the whole thing. We'll grab all of them here, come under Edit, Delete by Type, and History, and that gets rid of the lattice deformers there. All right, overall that looks pretty good. Let's get the cart turned back on. And let's just go ahead and create a little area underneath here with a polygon cube that the seat will rest on. And let's scale that up to about here. And about there. That looks pretty good. And we made it a little too wide. Let's bring it back in here. And something about like that. That looks pretty good. And maybe raise it up just a little more. Okay, so of course if we hit a 3 on the keyboard it collapses. We're going to have to add some tension lines in here. So going back to Polygon, menu set, edit mesh, insert edge loop tool, and we'll just go around each corner here, placing in edge loops. One here, another one down here, and one in the back as well. So if we go back to Object, complete that, and that's holding together much better now. It's looking rather plain. I'm going to add a little bit of detail to that. Let's kind of create a curve right here. So let's select the edge loop tool again. Just place one here in the middle. And I'm going to place a couple more edge loops here, and then I'm going to extrude the faces along the top and bottom. So I'm going to do that by coming in here, right mouse click, select face. So I'm going to click once here, shift click on this, and then shift double click that, and it sends the loop all the way around, selecting all those faces. I hit extrude, and let's just pull that out like that. So we've got a little bit of a lip down here now. Gives it a little bit of interest. We can do the same thing here on the top. Click on this one, shift click, and then double click on this one over here. And extrude and pull that out. Okay, so complete that. Come back to object mode, and if we select 3, that gives it a little bit more detail there. It doesn't look so plain. I think I'm going to use this one right here, grab the vertices along this area here, both sides, and select W and just push it back a little bit like that, just so it's got a little bit of a curve. I may actually select all of these right here and just kind of push it all back, and then so we have a little bit of room for the character's feet, the heels of the feet, so that looks pretty good there. Alright, back to object mode, and there we have our bench seat. And in the next lesson we will create the canopy.